unique program which I thought is necessary for the teachers. People around me, around you might have laughed at this workshop. What is this communication skills for teachers? But during the course, I got some feedback. Then it is necessary and we can make it mandatory to strengthen the hands of the teachers. The agenda for today's presentation will have some preamble about the education in general, technical education in particular in our country with a global perspective, and also role of a teacher. There is a lot of confusion whether teacher role is just teaching like a school teaching or any other role additional than the teaching. Then various teaching methods, methodologies available from contemporary days and a requirement of quality teacher. Don't copy anything, just you listen, keep your attention on my voice and your eyes on the screen. Sometimes I wear white dress so that you will not have any distractions by looking at me. Okay, the requirement of a quality teacher, some of the components, the improvement methods, and then the research methodology. That is anyway, I'm skipping that, it doesn't have in the lecture series. Then few inspirational quotes by great people. Next. Then second, and also our languages are derived from Sanskrit. Our pronunciation is very, very clear and anyone in the world can understand our phonetics. Then the engineers play a pivotal role in the development of an industry and the society, the nation and the global village in the present context. So engineering, first the scientific and the technical manpower importance, then the engineers importance. Then comes the teachers in engineering college. So the teachers in engineering institutions impart basic knowledge, engineering skills, that is in the laboratory, and to the students and mold them in all-round way to perform them not only as an engineer but also as a good civilian. So personality development is also part of our lecture. The manners, the way in which they should exhibit themselves in front of the teachers, in the public, in the HR and all that. So there is a requirement to produce more number of engineers to cater the needs of the global village. We are generating engineers or producing engineers for not only for our country's requirement but also to the global village. And this has been possible because of the massification of technical education in the private sector. Government cannot start with huge budgetary, so every private institution private agencies should start, and this has been taking place from last 20-30 years. India has abundance of knowledge and intellect. That is the maximum we export today. The most we export today is intellectual manpower. What is intellectual? What is intellect? Knowledge and imagination is intellect. So whether we are imparting knowledge to our students, or students they have the imagination capacity or capabilities, that is a big question mark. India proudly proclaims that intellectual power from India is being used all over the world, in all the countries, and with that whole world is prospering. People say 22% of American doctors are from India. Okay? So likewise, we have major role to play in US development or world's development. Recently, you might have seen the newspaper, the survey they did, Education Department did the survey and reported in the newspaper and presented to the President Obama that the B1 visa or H1 visa, the rules can be relaxed. The present challenges to the education system in India can be broadly categorized into rapid growth in technology. What technology you want to utilize? There is a growth in the technology. Every day you will find a new device. Okay? But nevertheless, we have used 20% of the device capabilities. You go to 1G to 2G technology, 3G and 4G. We never used 1G fully. We have transformed it to 2G. And before understanding 2G, 3G has come. Okay? So technology is changing very fast. And the human resource development is a big challenge. We cannot get the qualified, interested teachers. Then qualified faculty and pedagogy is, once you get qualified faculty, the pedagogy is a problem. So continuous training, pedagogy is nothing but continuous training, teacher training. Then depletion in research orientation of students. Among the students, research orientation is a big word to be used at the undergraduate level, but it doesn't mean that it is nothing but a creative thinking in the young minds at the UG level. That is nothing but the research orientation. It is socially demanding or socially challenged, but you have to adjust with that. Okay. Then effective teaching consists of a set of skills that can be acquired, improved and extended. That is very, very important. Time to time it happens. Intellectually demanding, it requires the teacher to know in a deep sense the subject being taught. Same thing I have explained. To teach effectively, you need to be able to think and problem solving, to analyze a topic, to reflect upon what is an appropriate approach for an appropriate topic, then to select key strategies and materials, to organize and structure ideas, information and tasks to the student. And none of these activities occur in a vacuum. A lot of planning, a lot of preparation. Okay? These are all prior preparations we have to make. Socially challenging, okay, remove. Now, most important of all is effective teaching requires the teacher to consider what the student know, what the students know, to communicate clearly to them, for which this workshop is necessary, to stimulate them to learn, think and communicate back, and perhaps in their turn to stimulate their teachers. If students are asking different types of questions, if you encourage, they'll ask very intelligent question. Then with that question you can come prepare an answer and your intellectual commanding can improve. Okay, ability can improve. In short, to teach effectively, you must know your subject, know how your students learn. That's more important. That is why we should conduct tutorials. Okay, you should know how the students can learn, and then how to teach to reach the targets of first two. Next, teacher's role in engineering education: conduct teaching learning process. There's a basic duty. Participation in curriculum development. We cannot call you, all of you here, for curriculum revision. Whenever you are teaching a course, may not be a first instant, but then second instant, next year, you may come across that since you are involved in the teaching, you may think that the sequence at some time is missing. Probably this may be better if you can prepone the topic to some other place, insert some other place. You can send instantly to DAP through email. So all those things are collected, preserved, and at the time of revision, we'll pass those comments to the experts so that they can take care of all these aspects. So you are indirectly, virtually involved yourself in the curriculum development. That is a major role of the teacher who really at the helm of the affairs. Then development of laboratories. You should know how the experiment is done, what are the required equipment, and which equipment is not working, which equipment need to be replaced, and how new experiments can be set up, and all that a teacher's role. Okay. Then update the library by learning resources. Teacher only come across new books, new authors, and read those books. If they are good enough, you can recommend through the head of the department to the principal, to the librarian, to procure a number of books, depending upon it. That is also a role of the teacher. And assessment and evaluation, of course, you are doing and involved in yourself. And initiate industry, institute interactions and collaborations based on your personal interactions or personal friendship. Your own BTech fellow might have joined in Infosys or maybe TCS or maybe Mahindra or maybe something else. Okay, you have to interact with them and say, take them to the industry and show them how the products are developed. Then acquire higher qualification. That is also you have to motivate yourself. If you are BTech, go for MTech. If you are MTech, go for PhD. Organize placement and training programs for students as a placement officer or as a teacher of the respective department. Motivate self and others for research activity. Okay, next. These are the roles of the teacher. Then go through the syllabus, how teaching learning process initiates. Once the subject allotment is done, go through the syllabus of your subject. Then collect all standard and relevant books in the library. Prepare for the class from many books at least 5 sessions in advance. You do not know somebody tomorrow, your own colleague will not come, and then you may have to handle his classroom, okay, or class period. So you need a sufficient material to deliver. The hints for preparation. There is a hint for preparation. Whenever you look into the syllabus, you presume yourself that I am the only person do not know anything about this subject, but all the 62 students knows about the subject. That will motivate you, that will put worries on your mind, okay, then it will push you into the library and select good number of books, read through and select good material and prepare your notes. Okay, so that is the driving force. Then once you come to the classroom, you are well prepared, isn't it? All weapons are with you, right? So you come to the class and presume yourself that I am the only person equipped with all the material. None of these guys knows anything. So that will boost your morale in the classroom, and the deliverable that day will be wonderful comparatively. Okay? Visit relevant industries and take the students at appropriate time to know the relevance of study and the feel of the industry. Conduct entrepreneurship development programs to encourage students to start an industry. Maybe you may be a EDC member of your department or your college. Then conduct personality development programs to correct one's attitude and behavior. Conduct seminars for all the students to bring out their inherent talent and raise their confidence levels. Next. On parameters involving quality assurance. So these are the inputs you require: human resources, physical resources and financial resources to run any institution, to establish any institution. And human resources amounts to faculty, staff and students. Then physical, labs, library, infrastructure. And financial resources, 3 inputs are given to a process of education institution where 5 varieties of activities are involved in the institution. Any kind of institution, right? Maybe with the age. Teaching learning practice is the only activity which is taking place in the private engineering colleges. If after some years of experience, industry institute interaction will also add part of it. Then third, research and development. 4th, industrial consultancy. 5, continuing education. So all these 5 activities are meant for any institution of any standard. Then what are the outputs? There are plenty of number of outputs. Not only generating number of engineers, that's all. But there are divided into tangible outcome which can be measurable in numbers and intangible which cannot be measured.